Hello and welcome to today's video. Now I've got a couple of days in Scotland which I'm making the most of. I went to the Forth Road Bridge this morning for sunrise, which you might have already seen already if it's come out in order that I'm making these videos, and then I thought I'd head over to the west coast to Oban, just keeping my eye out for anything interesting that might be along the way. And I struck gold with this vessel sticking out of this cove, just sticking out of the water. Now I think the tide is gradually creeping its way in, so I'm going to make the most of it and yeah, see what we can get. So stick around for the next 10-15 minutes and hopefully we'll have some images like this. I've got myself set up. Now I'm looking up because I've had to put the camera up as high as it will go. I've extended the tripod lugs as far as I'll go, and the neck of the tripod as well, and extended it right up because where the boat is just sticking out, the horizon of the shore on the opposite side runs through it, and I think that kind of detracts from it a little bit. So I've gone up really high, so I'm kind of shooting down on the boat and thus keeping it just below the horizon level. You've got the beautiful mountains behind it, but I just wanted to make sure that the boat is kept within the water space, as it were. Now I've tried a couple of exposures. I was trying to go for a long exposure of over 2 seconds just to try and smooth out the water. I mean, there isn't really a breath of wind, but it does pick up, and I just noticed that I have got, because it's a boulder field here, there's nothing really that I can sort of get a good purchase with the tripod on, so any breeze or anything, there's a slight tremor. So when you put a 2 second exposure on there, you do get a little bit of movement. So I kind of scrubbed that idea for a minute. I'm going to go back up there onto some more solid ground and maybe try to recompose it with the 85mm or the 100-400 and see if we can kind of get that compression of the background effect going on with it. So I don't know, I'm quite pleased with how it is at the moment. I'll turn you around and just show you. I've had to put my little monitor on as well because it's quite bright here, and knowing that I was probably going to have to lift the tripod up, I just wanted to be able to see a little bit clearer. So as you can see, this is massively overexposed at the moment, but you can see the placement of the boat within the water, and I just kind of wanted to keep it framed within that light portion of the water with that nice line of mountains in the background. Now at the moment, the way I've got the camera set up so you can see it, there's not a huge amount of cloud going on anyway, but if I was just to sort of like bring this down a little bit, you've got a little bit of detail. I'm not sure that's picking that up, but there's a little bit of detail in the sky. So just for safeties, I might take a couple of brackets once I'm really happy with the shot that I've got. I might take a bracket just for the sky and see how we go. What I would do here is just bring the camera down nice and low and make use of all this beautiful seaweed and stuff just on the shore. I'm being very careful what is actually shown within the frame there. It's all kind of laying in lines and stuff. Some of it can be a bit messy, but I'm just sort of like moving myself around and seeing if I can find something that's a bit more pleasing for the foreground. And with the boat in the background, yeah, it looks quite nice. Now I'm not really particularly bothered about the background being in focus so much because that will give a bit of depth to the image. But yeah, coming down low, it's making the boat very prominent within the image, and so yeah, quite liking that really. know, I absolutely love putting the 100-400 on and just zooming right in and just picking out some beautiful little details. Now, where the side of the hull has all been rotting and the paint's fading and cracked, and it's really showing its antiquity. The way the paint has come off, it almost looks like an atlas or a map of the world, and it just looks like it's trying to tell a story. It's just incredible. So as you might be able to make out on the screen there, I've just zoomed right the way in to pick up on that beautiful colour just down there on the hull, and as you can see, it just looks like a map of the world coming through, and all that rust is burning through. Lovely. So yeah, very happy with these sort of intimate shots.
And with the weather app promising rain at some point, I headed north towards Glencoe, where I thought I was in for an easy time.
I'm really drawing a blank here. What I thought was going to be an actually amazing location to shoot, it's just not working out that way at all. And I can't put my finger on it whatsoever. I mean, the place is beautiful. You've got water, you've got rocks, you've got beautiful landscape behind you, you've got perfect sky, but nothing that I can do is something that I could, I'd want to sort of hang on my wall or anything. It's really bizarre. Yeah, I'm totally at a loss. I don't know if you guys ever feel that way. You've got all this stuff going on. Just look at the place, and I can't find anything that works. And I don't know. This is a new one. I don't know. I've seen a composition which I think might work on the other side of the main road, which I'm going to pop across there, but I don't want to spend too long trying to find something that I can't find, if that makes sense, because obviously time is limited, so I need to crack on my sort of road trip. But I've been here for about 30 minutes or so, just sort of methodically sort of going through the usual suspects, put in something, rocks in the foreground and all the rest of it, but I don't know, it's just not. I think what it is when you've got a landscape like this, which is absolutely incredible, you want to do it justice. You want to sort of, the feeling that you get when you're in this sort of environment, it's just not translating onto the screen and onto the picture. I just can't capture that sort of, I don't know, whether you capture an emotion about it, I don't know whether that's a little bit too deep, but I'm just not doing it any justice. So I'm going to sort of pack my gear up here. I'm just going to put the images that I have gotten into a sort of, onto the hard drive, just to kind of learn from. I might show them possibly, but I'm just not feeling it at the moment whatsoever. So I'm going to head across the other side and see what we can get over there.
And with the sky bruising and the wind rising, it was time to make a decision, and make it quick.
Okay, well, while walking around, I've just been sort of like dotting myself about, really. I was feeling a little bit despondent, but I think I finally found myself a composition, including this sort of rock behind me with this tree, and focusing on the mountains there. Now, I am going to do a stack there because I would like this to be sharp both front and back. Sometimes I quite like to show the depth of an image by letting the background sort of like fade away to nothing, sort of thing. But on this occasion, I quite like the way it's getting illuminated and what have you. We've got a bit of rain cloud and stuff coming in at the moment, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get wet at all in a minute. But so that's what I've basically done. Is I've focused on the tree that you can see here, and then taken an image for the mid ground and just in case I need it, and one for the background. I've just waited for the sun to illuminate them, and yeah, it looks quite nice. Now obviously the tree is sticking nicely up into the sky, so made sure that's got plenty of room to breathe in the sky there, so it looks purposeful. So even though it's you know, it's above the horizon, I know some get a bit precious about the horizon line and what have you in images, and I am one of them as well, I think. So yeah, it's rather purposeful. So yeah, it's going a bit better from when I first started in this area. I didn't think it was going to go too well, but I did have a little look across the other side of the road, but that's kind of not working either. So yeah, I think I'm going to probably pack up in a bit. Like I say, time's against me a little bit, not so much, but I would like to go on to some further sort of areas and see what we can make there. Just heading back to the car, and I was just following the perimeter of the water basically, and whoa, I've just looked up, look what's coming in behind me. All that, I'm assuming that's rain coming in there. It looks like fog, but wow, that has changed in 2 seconds. As I was walking back to the car, I saw this lovely little stump that's been sun bleached, and almost looks like sheep horns or whatever, but yeah, it's just sort of like been baked in the sun next to the water. And so I've got the camera down in low because I want to keep that in on the right hand side of the composition, where I've got sort of stones in the water leading off into the mountains in the background, and what with the light just coming through on these storm clouds that are coming in, then yeah, it's looking rather sweet. Okay, well that's it. I'm going to run back to the car now. I can hear a coffee shop calling, and I don't particularly want to get caught in all that weather coming in. How do I get over there? It's a bit swampy here. Yeah, I don't want to get caught in the weather over there. So I'm going to further on my road trip. Again, I'm just bimbling around, so I'm not quite sure where I'm heading towards. But yes. It's going to be interesting. I quite like that. It's going to be interesting to see what we come back with.
Being mindful of the weather report, I headed further along the road to a spot I'd wanted to stop at for quite a while.
So I'm just stood below the bridge here, looking up at the mountain here. Now, as you can see, the sun is just over to the left hand side, and it's basically throwing everything into shadow because you've got the glare off the water and everything. So it's just this great triangle of shadow, which I quite like, actually, to be honest with you. I've tried to cut down on the waves of the ripples on the stream as it runs towards me, just a little bit. I've got the neutral density polarizer on, but it doesn't stop down enough. I've got it at the lowest settings for everything. I've got the aperture down as small as it will go, and the ISO as low as it will go, just to give me as much time for the shutter to open. But at the moment, it's not really long enough just to sort of like make everything look like glass. But I'm not sure whether that's a wrong thing. To be honest, I quite like what it's doing, because you're getting a very minute reflection of in the water as it goes down. Now the water is just an empty space, really, with just sort of the streaks of the shadow reflection coming down through it, which is kind of okay actually. So I'm just going to play with this. Now I did notice there's some poles and stuff underneath this bridge that must have been from the original crossing from years and years ago. So I'm just wondering if I might take myself in underneath as far as I can, even though I'm looking at the mountain, and see if I can get anything of that in the foreground. It might work. There's another bit of a waterfall further up the road, half a mile or so, so I might take a wander up there actually. But we've got some lovely light rays coming in over here in this area here, but because I'm low down, I can't really shoot at it. So yeah, let's go and have a look.
And with the promised rain hot on my heels, it was time to head back to the car. Just in time.
Okay, well I think we're in for another shower. As you can probably see over in the background, all this is coming back in again. I've come over to this waterfall. Just move you down a little bit, there you go. I've just come over to this waterfall on the other side of the road. It's probably half a mile up from where I was just now. And yeah, I just thought I'd make use of this waterfall. So what I'm trying to do is try to incorporate that waterfall and that scene there. Now, the only way I can do that is turn the camera on its side into portrait orientation, and I don't normally shoot in that orientation, and then basically do a panorama right the way along, or right the way around. Now, on that sort of thing, I'm not really doing a focus stack or anything like that. I've just chosen a very, very small aperture, trying to get the best focus distance that I can. I've focused on the near waterfall, and then basically work my way around, and then just hopefully, I mean the thing is that the clouds are coming in anyway, so it's not going to be in sharp focus anyway, so, but it's nice just to have that sort of waterfall coming over and then shoot it off into the distance to the Glen Etive, which is nice.
I valiantly put up a fight from the oncoming deluge, armed with my trusty Swiss Army knife lens cloth.
I'm just waiting for my camera to kick off, because the minute any moisture gets in the air, it ends up kicks up an error, which is not very nice. especially when you're trying to take photographs. It's very off-putting. But yeah, this might just have to be the last image of the day, I think, before having to return back to the hotel back down in Glasgow, as I've got work on Monday. But what a way to spend the weekend. I love it. When I've got to work in Scotland, that's it. Well, because I'm such a spoon, there's me thinking it's getting dark because of the rain coming across, but it's not. It's 6 o'clock and the sun's going down, and I was just so carried away with what I've been doing. I had no clue what the time was. So yeah, I think the sun will be going down within the hour, I think. But there's one image I just want to get, and as you can see, Glenativ is just disappearing into the rain clouds here. I could just about, in this corner here, just see some clear skies breaking through. I just love that cloud, just to break a second, just so that I could take my final image of the day. And what I'm trying to do with that is where the water is coming down over these waterfalls. There hasn't been a lot of rain around, so all the waterfalls and streams and stuff are running a little bit low, but that's allowed me to stand in the middle of the stream, and where it's kind of pooling, it's swirling up, and so we've got all these lots of lovely swirls going on just in front of me. So what I've done is I've kept the camera in portrait orientation, and I've angled the camera down with the 24mm just to pick up on that swirl and get the mountain in the background. But as I got that, once I saw the shot and I got myself set up, the rain's come in and just spoiled it for a minute. So I'm just going to hunker down for a bit and just hopefully we'll be able to do it. I just want this one shot and then I can go home. So fortunately I've got my wet weather gear on now, so I'm going to stick it out, but there is fine weather coming over by the looks of it, so this is hopefully just a squally shower. Well, that was a bit worrying just then. I managed to drop my pocket, Osmo Pocket, almost went in the river, but the back kind of smashed off. Unfortunately it went back together again, but yeah, for a brief second then that was very, very worrying. But somewhere behind me, if the sun's coming out over there, somewhere behind me should be a rainbow. Just go and have a look. Oh. Always look behind you when the sun comes out and it's been raining. Oh, there it is. Look how beautiful that is. Look how beautiful that is. But I can't move because I've got myself set up down there. Yeah, I think we're ready to take the shot. Here it is. Well, that's it from Scotland. Back to the day job tomorrow. It's been an absolute joy to be around here this weekend. It's nice to be able to sort of like get behind the camera again after, must be what, 2 months I think was the last time I was around, and funny enough I was back up in Scotland back then as well. Yeah, it's been absolutely a pleasure to drive around here. I've tried to keep away from the touristy spots, but not so much that I haven't been able to enjoy them from afar, as it were. But yeah, really enjoyed it. So yeah, if you've liked any of the images that you've seen today, please leave a like and subscribe and all those sorts of things. That'd be great. Stick around for the gallery because that'll be coming up next with all the settings and what have you, for those that are interested in any of that. Also down in the description there'll be affiliate links for any of the gear that I use, and that helps support the channel going forward. So yeah, until next time, bye for now.